Nottingham Forest are a sleeping giant. They've won a total of 2 Champions Leagues. That's more than Manchester City, Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur, just to put that into perspective. But right now they are only 12th in the Premier League, so it's obvious that they are nowhere near the team that they used to be. So in today's video we're going to sort that out by becoming the new manager of Nottingham Forest with the sole mission of winning them their 3rd Champions League and returning them back to the glory days. So this is the starting 11 I've loaded into a Forest, and let me tell you something, whilst the squad looks a bit all over the place, this team is pretty damn good. They've got youngster Morgan Gibbs-White, who's only 23 years old, 77 rated, a player we can absolutely build this team around. They've also got Ibrahim Sangaré, who's only in his mid-20s. We could potentially turn this guy into a monster. And we have a very solid goalkeeper in between the sticks in Odysseus Vlachodimos, who's 81 rated at only 29 years old. The only downside is that it's quite an old team. As you can see, a lot of players are over 30 years old. And as you can see, a few of their best players are currently on loan to them, especially World Cup winner Gonzalo Montiel. But I'm telling you now, once we properly mess with this team, we'll turn it into an absolute monster. Now, I want to use the wing play tactical vision. We've got a couple of very pacey wingers, and I think using this tactical vision will definitely benefit us in the long run. Now, the first thing we're doing to the team itself is switching the formation to a 4-2-3-1 now. We've got a couple of defensive midfielders, a few wingers and a cam. This is literally perfect for Forest. And after messing around with the team, this is the strongest possible team we can field, and honestly, I like the looks of it. We've got former United prospect Anthony Elanga, who's 73 rated. This guy could come pretty good for us. We also have youngster Danilo, who alongside Sangaré could become an absolute beast for us. Don't get me wrong, it is a shame that our fullbacks are on loan to us, but for one season, I don't think it'll hurt to use them. And we have 38 million in our starting budget, but here comes the twist that you guys have been waiting for. We're allowed a maximum of 3 signings per season, and those signings have to be from relegated players only. And obviously, because no team's been relegated yet, we're not going to make a single transfer in season 1. But obviously, we will be looking out for Luton Town players, Sheffield United players. I'm not too certain who that 3rd team would be though. But that does mean the team is looking like this going into season 1, and let's be honest boys, we're not going to be aiming for anything spectacular this year. I think we've got to be aiming for a mid-table finish, because I don't want this team anywhere near that relegation zone. Let me put it this way, I won't mind a Manchester City or a Liverpool getting relegated to the Championship. So boys, we've just reached the end of season 1 and we finished inside the top 10, and we weren't actually far off the top 6 either. There was only 8 points separating ourselves from Arsenal. I'm telling you now, this team is pretty damn good. Remember, we've made no signings this season. But it's the moment of truth. Who got relegated? Crystal Palace, Bournemouth and Burnley. How the hell did Luton and Sheffield United survive? It wasn't even close. 7 points between Palace and Sheffield United. I mean, that's good for us though. We get a way better selection of players to choose from. But we got knocked out of round 4 of the FA Cup by Newcastle United. And we got battered by Leicester City 4-1 in the Carabao Cup. I've just come to the conclusion we'll never do well in these competitions. I have to admit though, the improvement in this starting 11 has definitely been pretty impressive. And the stats are actually pretty solid. 18-1 for Awoni, 17-7 for Anthony Elanga, and 11-5 for Morgan Gibbs-White. Considering the fact we made no signings, a top 10 finish with Nottingham Forest in our 1st season isn't bad at all. And with Palace, Bournemouth and Burnley being the teams we can buy from next year, budget depending, I reckon we'll take the Premier League by storm in season 2. But before we go any further, if you're enjoying this video so far, leave it a big old thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. So it's now our 2nd year in charge of Nottingham Forest, and as you can see, Montiel's gone back to his former club, Nuno Tavares has gone back to his former club, so our defence is left a little bit shaky. But looking at the rest of the team, our midfielders are looking good, our front 4 are looking pretty solid. It is literally just the defence that we need to sort out, and we're absolutely golden. And we've got 73 million to spend in season 2. Now bear in mind, we've got to spend this on 3 players, so we're going to have to be pretty tactical on who we bring in. And also remember, we can only buy from Burnley, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, because those are the 3 teams last season that got relegated. And boys, from Bournemouth, we've got our left back sorted, Milos Kerkez. He's only 20 years old, 77 rated. He will definitely be the most expensive signing we make this season, but he will definitely be worth it. Now his market value is 18.5 million, so I'm going to go for 22 million as a starting bid. That leaves us with 15 million in our budget. They actually accepted that. Why do I feel like I've just overpaid for him massively? But ladies and gentlemen, we've made our first transfer as Nottingham Forest manager in Milos Kerkez for 22 million on the dot. And we've still got 47 million after that transfer, leaving us with a fair amount of money to spend for for 2 more signings. And Milos Kerkez slots straight into that back 4, but remember, we now need a centre-back. And we found our centre-back in Joachim Andersen from Palace. He's 6'4", 80 rated, got some very impressive stats. I think he'll slot into our team just fine. And boys, for a grand total of 19.3 million, we have officially sorted our back 4 out for season 2. And that now leaves us with 25 million, and the biggest question is, where do we actually put that money? I don't really want to mess with this back 4 anymore, and the rest of the team, I'm happy to leave as it is. Maybe we go for a backup striker for Wood, because let's be honest, the 72 rated striker in the Prem just isn't going to do it, is it? The backup striker role is literally the only position that needs sorting out, and I think I know just the player to bring in from Burnley. I'm going for Zeki Amdouni. He's only 23 years old, 76 rated, and when I did Burnley not long ago, this guy turned into an absolute monster for us, so for me, this is a no-brainer. And that does end our transfer window as we brought in backup striker Zeki Amdouni for 14.8 million. And that does leave the team looking like this heading into season 2, and honestly boys, I'm really happy with the progression so far. Sanger is now 83 rated, Gibbs White's 80 rated, Alanga is now 77 rated. Everything is looking up for Nottingham Forest. And obviously last year we finished inside the top 10, and honestly I think that's exactly what we should be aiming for this year. What I don't want is for our new and improved Nottingham Forest team to do worse than we did last year, otherwise we will be in a little bit of trouble. And looking at the table, Leeds United, Leicester City and Norwich City got promoted, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can survive the Prem or they're going to get sent straight back down. But I'm hoping for a West Ham relegation, maybe even a Wolves relegation. That would set us up beautifully for season 3, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. So we finish out another season with Nottingham Forest, and this time we're 8th in the Premier League. Man, we were 10 points behind 6th place West Ham, but honestly boys, I don't really care about that. And I'm pretty certain 8th in the Premier League gets us Europa Conference League football. We may be playing European football once again with Forest in season 3. But here's the moment of truth. Who got, oh my god, Luton, Sheffield United and Fulham. We are really scraping the barrel there, aren't we? Last year we did get kind of lucky, but this season Luton and Sheffield just couldn't survive the Prem. But one thing I did notice, Liverpool finished 10th in the league. Man, what the bloody hell's happened to them over there? We're in the FA Cup. This time we made it to round 5, only losing to Arsenal on penalties. You know what? I'll take that. But this time we lost to Plymouth Argyle in the Carabao Cup on penalties. I mean, come on, man, this game. But look at the improvement in this starting 11. Only 2 players below 80 overall, for goodness sake. And the stats this year are pretty good. 10 and 2 for Anthony Alanga, 17 and 10 for Callum Hudson-Odoi, and 20 and 2 for our main striker up top. Can't lie, boys, everything is going very goddamn well in Nottingham Forest so far. And looking at the starting 11, there's only a couple of positions we need to focus on before we may actually do fairly well in Europe next year, providing we are actually in it. But I don't know what's up with Ibrahim Sanger. He needs to cheer the bloody hell up, for goodness sake. So we're now into our 3rd year in charge of Forest, and we've got just under 80 million in our budget. That budget is increasing every single year. And looking at the team, boys, we could just do with a better right back and a better left winger than Hudson-Odoi, and it is absolutely spot on. Although I don't really want to bring in a winger for Hudson-Odoi. I know he's 79 rated and one of the weakest links in the starting 11, but he's only 24 years old. I want to give this guy a little bit more time. But to be fair, with Fulham, Sheffield United and Luton Town being the only teams we can buy from this year, our choices of who to bring in are very limited. But we're starting with a bang with João Palhinha from Fulham. He's 84 rated, 6'3". I know what you guys are thinking. We've got good defensive midfielders, but I've got a different plan for João Palhinha. But we've got to be careful. He's worth 30.5 million. We've only got 80 million in our budget. So with that being said, I'm going to start my bid off at 33 million. Please don't walk out. They want 36.3 million with 5% silent clause. That's pretty decent. But I'm stingy. I'm going to go a bit lower. 35 million on the dot, and I'll say yes. And they've accepted it. That is absolutely fantastic. And just like that, boys, we've taken João Palhinha from the Championship and once again made him a Premier League player. Now, I said to you guys I've got a plan for João Palhinha, and that plan is to convert into a centre-back. It'll only take 2 weeks, and I reckon his overall will go up. And we've still got 40 million in our budget. We've still got a fair amount of money left for the remaining 2 transfers. And trust me, we got lucky with Sheffield United. Martin van der Vaart somehow plays for them. He's only 23 years old, 79 rated. He will be a great second-choice goalkeeper. But they weren't letting him go that easily, as we've just had to fork out 24 million for him to get him on a 5-year contract. And that leaves us with 13 million to spend on a Luton Town player, but I'm not going to lie, boys, I'm not getting my hopes up. And I was right not to. There's hardly any players that I could actually bring in that would actually improve the starting 11 anyway. To be fair though, Marcus Antonio doesn't look bad. He's 78 rated, 25 years old. He won't get in the starting 11, but he'll be a decent backup option for a midfielder. Maybe we should just go for Pascal Struijk. He's 25 years old, 76 rated. He won't get in that starting 11, but maybe he'll be alright as a backup centre-back. And And that wraps up our transfer window as we've just spent 8.2 million on Pascal Struett. Now, João Palhinha's just finished his training to be a centre-back, and he's going to turn into an 85 rated centre-back. Beautiful stuff. And that leaves the team looking like this going into Season 3. And I've got to say, boys, I can't pick a fault with this squad. Now, obviously, I'd have loved to find a better fullback than Aurier, but there's always next year for that. And I've already said I want to give Hudson-Odoi a little bit more time because I absolutely believe this guy will turn into a beast for us. And this year, I absolutely believe we should be pushing for top 6 football. We've already got top 8. The next step is the top 6. And unfortunately, boys, as you can see, we aren't actually in the Conference League. So 8th place after all doesn't guarantee you European football. So it's up to these boys this year to get inside that top 6. Otherwise, we're going to spend another year not playing European football. So we've reached the end of yet another season with Forest. And this time we're in the top 6, 5th in the league. And we were only a couple of points outside the top 4, man. We could have got Champions League football. We actually beat Manchester City to 5th place, man. That is absolutely mental. But at the moment of truth, who's in the bottom 3? It's Burnley, Norwich, and Everton. You know what? All things considered, that isn't bad at all. Everton have got a couple of decent players. Burnley have. I'm not too sure about Norwich, but overall, this year's better than last year's. But this time, we only made it to round 4 of the FA Cup, getting knocked out by bloody Wolves. And we made the quarters of the Carabao Cup this time, only losing to Man U on penalties. We are actually getting better in these competitions. And so is our team. Oh my god, look at the improvement in this squad this year. 86 rated Palhinha, 84 rated Kirkes, and 86 rated Gibbs White, and that's not including Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, Sanga. Everybody has pulled their weight this season. And the stats are looking way better. 25 for our striker, 22 and 9 for Hudson-Odoi, 11 and 10 for Elanga, and 5 and 7 for Morgan Gibbs White. I genuinely couldn't be happier, boys. We're doing better domestically. We got a top 6 finish in the Prem. Our team is improving. Everything is looking up. And with Burnley, Norwich, and Everton going down this year, we may potentially have a couple of balls coming our way in Season 4. So we're now into our 4th year in charge of Forest, and as you can see from the coaching system, I have been very busy. And realistically, when you look at the starting 11, all we need is a better right back, and this team is sorted. Maybe a better centre back wouldn't go amiss just to strengthen that back line, but more importantly, we definitely need a better right back. And we've got 141 million to spend on 3 players, man. If the teams that we can buy from have got some balls, we may be looking at a very successful year in charge of Forest. But we've got off to a flying start with Burnley, and Sergio Gomez, he's 25 years old, 80 rated. Granted, he is a left back. All we have to do is convert into a right back, and that's our right back sorted. And guys, for 27.2 million, we made Sergio Gomez a Nottingham Forest player. And boys, we've still got 110 million to spend. I've got a feeling we're going to have at least 50 million left after the next 2 transfers. And we've got very lucky with Everton. 81 overall, Amadou Onana. I mean, I'm not being funny. Those stats look a little bit more like a centre-back to me than a CDM. He's 6'4", 78 defending, 83 physicality. I reckon we convert him to a centre-back once we bring him into this team. And he's not even worth 30 million, boys. I guarantee we'll have more than 50 million left in our budget once this transfer window's done. I'm going to offer 28 million as a starting bid. I mean, it's not going to hurt our budget regardless, is it? They want Danilo and 8.5 million. I don't really want to get rid of Danilo because he's a good squad depth player. Let's go for 29.5 million instead. And there we go. Darch looks like he's happy with that. And just like that, boys, we've got our right back problem sorted and now our centre back problem sorted. And we've now got 77 million to spend on a Norwich player. I mean, Manchester City couldn't get relegated, could they? Saying that though, I found Carlos Cabral, who's only 19 years old, 80 overall already. I know our defensive situation is sorted out now, but I'd be a fool not to get this guy. And with the signing of Carlos Cabral for 30.1 million, that is our transfer window done. Now, as you guys know, I've been training Onana to become a centre-back. He's hoping he goes up and over. Oh, come on, I spent all that money for absolutely nothing. But Joachim Anderson is now 82 overall, so at least that is a positive. But now the team looks like this going into Season 4, and for the first time ever, this Nottingham Forest team doesn't have a player under 80 rated. And this year, I reckon we push for top 4 football, man. This team is definitely capable of it. And for the first time, we have got European football with Forest. We're in the Europa League in Group E alongside RC Lens FC, Midtjylland and Apiol FC. And I say we strive to win the Europa League this year. If we can win this competition this season, it puts us in a fantastic position to properly compete in the Champions League. So guys, Season 4 is done and dusted, and we have finished second in the league, only 3 points behind Premier League winners Arsenal. That is absolutely massive. But who's being relegated? That's the question. Leicester City, Fulham, and what? You know what? That actually isn't that bad. Leicester City have got a couple of good players. We know Fulham have, and we definitely know Watford have too. And this time we made the quarters of the FA Cup, losing 2-1 1-1 to West Ham. We just can't win the FA Cup, can we? And we made the quarters to the Carabao Cup, losing to Burnley 6-5 on penalties. I honestly just give up at this point with domestic cups. But in the Europa League, we topped Group E with flying colours, and we go straight to the round of 16, where we absolutely batter Feyenoord 4-2 on aggregate. And then we beat Manchester City in the quarterfinals 4-3. Boys, if we're beating Man City, we should be beating everybody and winning this entire thing. Oh, okay, maybe not. Fiorentina have well and truly humbled us. The good news is, though, we finished second in the Prem, so regardless of this competition, we've got Champions League football for Season 5. But look at the goddamn team, boys. I'm not being funny. Nottingham Forest's core squad is absolutely phenomenal. And our striker, who's 87 rated, for goodness sake, boys, this team is absolutely ridiculous. And stats-wise, our front three, once again, 23 goals for our striker, 22 and 16 for Alanga, 19 and 9 for Hudson-Odoi, and 14 and 8 for Morgan Gibbs-White. That's our 4th year in a row where we've surpassed the previous season's achievements, man. This Nottingham Forest team is ridiculous. But next year, we will be competing in the Champions League, so he is hoping that the 3 teams we can buy from next year have got some absolute ballers in them. So it's now our 5th year in charge of Forest, and we've got 170 million. I'm not gonna lie, it's starting to get a bit painful that we can't just buy whoever we want. Now, looking at the team, obviously a better right back, a better centre back wouldn't go amiss, but honestly, I think the quality that surrounds them makes up for their lack of quality. And to be honest, the subs bench is pretty stacked in almost every single position as well. And with us only allowed to sign players from Leicester City, Watford and Fulham, I reckon we just go for the best of the best and then go from there. But let me tell you something, Fulham have delivered. Giorgio Scalvini, 82 overall, 23 years old, he's 6'4". We've got so lucky with this one. But he is our most expensive signing so far, as we've just spent 44.5 million on him. And as for Leicester City, I'm going for Amad Diallo, who's only 24 years old, 81 rated, got some very good stats to go with it. We do need a backup winger just in case anything happens to Callum Hudson-Odoi or Alanga too. And he's worth between 40 and 32.1 million. He is well within our budget. And just like that, 2 of our transfers have been used up, as we've spent 35 million on Amad Diallo. And we've still got 83 million left to spend, and we've only got to buy a player from Watford now, so he is hoping they've actually got a baller hiding in that team. Not gonna lie, boys, that's disappointing. No player is actually over 80 rated in this entire squad. We have been done dirty here, boys. The highest rated player they've got is 23-year-old Miguel Monsalve. He's a 79 rated central attacking midfield. He definitely won't get into the team, but he'll do as a second choice camp. And we can't even buy him because the player is too important to the team. You can't write this. You know what? Let's just go for Imran Louzri, 76 overall. His contract's running out. Let's just get him. And we can't get him either because he's too important to the club. His contract's running out. He can't be that bloody important to you. You know what? Let's go for João Ferreira instead. He's 75 rated. If they won't give us João Ferreira, I officially give up. And that is finally our transfer window done, as we've just spent £6 million on João Ferreira. And now the team looks like this heading into Season 5, and to be honest, it's not too dissimilar to what it looked like at the beginning of this season before we made any changes. The only real difference is Cabral's taken Joachim Anderson's place in the starting 11 because he's 83 rated at only 20 years old. The good news is our centre-backs are solid. Scalvini, Cabral, Onana, Joachim Anderson, João Palhinha, we are covered. And honestly, I reckon this year we push for the Premier League title. Last year we were this close to it. I think this season we go for it. And we've gone from the Europa League to the Champions League. We're in Group D alongside Monaco, PSV and Macau. And I've got to be real, boys, if we don't top this group, there's something wrong, man, because I can absolutely guarantee our team is way better than the rest of the teams in this group. So, boys, we've just arrived in January and we are 3rd in the league, only 4 points behind Arsenal. We are still very much in a title race. And in the group stage, ourselves and Monaco just left the group for dead, and we both cruised to the round of 16. And so far, the stats still look pretty promising. Everybody's getting in on the action this year. And we've obviously used up all of our transfers, so this is an update on how the team looks going into the knockouts. And let's be real, boys, the improvement has been spectacular. One player in particular I'm happy about is Callum Hudson-Odoi. I gave this guy time and he repaid me back and then some. He's 87 rated, for God's sake. And also, Cabral's gone up to 85 overall and he's only 21 years old. This guy's an absolute monster. I think we're going to do well in the knockouts this year. I'm not saying we're going to win it nor get to the final for that matter, but we're definitely going to get quite far in this competition. And the first team we're playing in the knockouts is RB Leipzig, and I've got to say, boys, I'm very glad it's RB Leipzig and not Bayer Leverkusen. The team is looking fantastic going into the first leg. We are away from home in the first leg, so let's see how we do. It's a 2-0 victory. Alanga getting both. They've got a red card on their side as well. That couldn't have gotten any better. It's time for the second leg leg where we are at home. We've done the dirty work away from home, so all we have to do is get it. Oh my god. How are we almost going to throw it away at home, for goodness sake? Oh, boys, if we're really just getting past RB Leipzig, God knows how we're going to get on against the big teams. And up next in the quarterfinals is AS Monaco, the same team we topped the group stage with, and I can't lie, boys, that team is way better than I thought it'd be. But if we want to get to the final, we've got to get through these, boys. We are at home in the first leg. It's a 2-2 draw. Why are we performing so badly at home, man, for goodness sake? Oh, man, Dominguez is injured for the second leg. That definitely isn't a good sign. We need a big performance from Forest in this second leg if we want to get through. And we do. We batter them 3-1 without one of our best players. Someone explain how that works. But up next in the semi-final is Atletico Madrid. And I've got to be real, boys. I actually think AS Monaco has a better team than these guys, and we've just beat them. And we do have our full-strength starting 11 for this game. We are at home as well. We haven't done well at home yet. Oh, that changes here, though. Elanga on the hour mark puts us 1-0 ahead of Atletico Madrid in this semi-final tie. We just need one more good game, and we're in the final. We're away from home in the second leg, and for some reason, we've just performed better when we played away from home in these knockout legs. Come on, boys. Don't let me down. Come on! Hudson-Odoi with the brace. 3-1 on aggregate. Nottingham Forest are finally back in the Champions League final. And in the final, we're playing against French giants PSG. They haven't won a Champions League yet, and there's no way in hell I'm letting them beat us to win their first one. We're heading over to the Prem. We finally won the Premier League, man, and by 12 points as well. We left everybody for dead. And if we aren't successful in beating PSG, we've got to buy from Bournemouth, Coventry City and Norwich next season. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not looking forward to that. But we once again only made the quarters of the FA Cup, getting battered by Manchester City. I've just given up trying to win this competition. And we made it to round 3 of the Carabao Cup before getting battered by the other side of Manchester. But look at the stats, man. I'm especially impressed with Sergio Gomez, getting 13 goals and 7 assists. He's a right back, for God's sake. And this is the team that's headed into the Champions League final. And what a goddamn team we've got in our hands. And 93 rated Elanga. I mean, you just don't get much better than that, do you? And something else that's impressive, we've managed to win the Premier League with Nottingham Forest only buying relegated players, man. That's incredible. But now we've got the chance to do something even better than that. We have the chance to win Nottingham Forest their first European trophy since 1980. Ballas coming forward. Milos Kerkez is trying to close him down. Oh, that's a fantastic save to start the game off. PSG have got a corner now. They've gone short. Okay, Lee Kang in. Back to Dembele. They're going around the box. This isn't good. They're passing around like Barcelona in the prime. Oh, Mbappe's on the ball now. Can we put a tackle in? No, we can't. Lee Kang in is through. What a save once again. Please clear that. Oh, my days. Thank you, crossbar. Thank you so much. PSG are absolutely battering us. Defending, though, we're doing really well. Dembele's on the ball on the right-hand side of the pitch. We need to close him down. Okay, that's not closing him down. That's letting him come through. Great tackle from Cabral. Milos Kerkez is on the break, though. Look at him. He's got so much pace, but there's nobody really in the box we can pass it to. We can come back. Okay, this is beautiful. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Can we make this 1-0? Yes, we can. We made a meal of it almost, but 37 minutes in, we've got 1-0 up against PSG. That was a beautiful counter-attack. Milos Kerkez at the centre of it. We passed it around. It reached Elanga, and from there, he is never missing. Told you, boys, wing play. I was right all along. Callum Hudson-Odoi is on the ball. He's cut inside. Look at him go. He's got a chance to make it 2-0 here. Oh, when he almost does. PSG are coming forward in the second half. Mbappe is on the ball. Milos Kerkez is in chase. Mbappe is one player we really don't need to get on the ball in the aim. Oh, no, great block. Yes, you're coming forward on the left-hand side. I don't like this. That's a great delivery. Can we get it away? Yes, we can. João Palhinha's all over it. We've got just over 5 minutes to hold on to this lead, and we are lifting our third Champions League with Nottingham Forest. Oh, no. Speaking of that, killing Mbappe. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We got away with that. I can't help but feel like if that's Erling Haaland, that's 1-1, and we're going to extra time. This has got to be the last kick of the game. Surely, and it is. Donnarumma didn't even have time to kick it out his own half. It is 1-0 on the night in the Champions League final. We have made Nottingham Forest once again the best team in the world, and we've just won their third European trophy. And we've done this in 5 seasons, only signing relegated players. I dare you guys to try to do better than that. And if you enjoyed that video, you should definitely click somewhere right here to watch me rebuild Hamburg with free agents only.